The COVID-19 pandemic has dramatically changed the ways in which people think about education. While most of us used to think of school as a building full of desks and lockers, nowadays we are just as likely to picture laptops and iPads at kitchen tables and in bedrooms. This documentary will examine the different styles of teaching that schools have embraced in recent years. For our first interview, let's interview Alexis Herman.
Alexis Herman. I am the 8th grade math and science teacher at St. Paul and Mount Prospect. One of the benefits that I've seen with a couple kids is that they get to work at their own pace. So a lot of the higher level achieving kids can kind of keep going if they understand something easily and get their stuff done without waiting for the whole class or the rest of the other people. What's also nice too is that they kind of get a break from everything, maybe like the loud noises or again, like the craziness that happens in the room that they usually get distracted by. So that's kind of nice too. Honestly, I think that without the social interaction, a lot of kids tend to fall behind with the rest of their peers. A lot of the kids learn a lot of the ways that they hang out with each other and the way they talk to each other through being here. Some other drawbacks are that you don't get to see the kids every day. So with me and with checking in on work, a lot of them don't have it on time. Whereas if you're here, I can kind of heckle you a little bit to turn them in, things like that. I also know that a lot of kids kind of hide from teachers and certain things, especially what's expected of them. It's easier behind a screen versus in person. So I think they lose the kind of the sense of urgency about school, turning in things, completing them in class time, things like that. I also think resource-wise, it's a little harder just because if we do, for example, what I do in science is like labs and hands-on activities. Kids at home can't always get the same interaction or can't always do them just because of the resources that we have here versus printing or getting that stuff at home. So I think that's a couple of the drawbacks too.
Let's see how Miss Vernisel, a hybrid high school teacher at Buffalo Grove High School, thinks about her experiences.
So I'm Jenny Vernisel, and I teach high school English at Buffalo Grove High School. And this year I teach all freshmen and sophomores. I'm going to say both in different ways. So in terms of the increase of stress, this year I've done a lot of surveying students both formally and informally and trying to take their responses and use that as data to inform kind of how I move forward. And over and over and over again, consistently what they say is it's too much screen time because they're on the screen all day for class. And then should they have any homework, the only way they can do it is on the screen. And so they're feeling a lot of stress in terms of like being stuck in this one spot in front of their screen for class and then to do their homework. Additionally, for some of the reasons I kind of just mentioned, in that when Zoom gets glitchy or the tech gets glitchy, students have commented on how, like particularly during lecture or notes, that they may miss something of importance, but everybody else in their own home, if their Wi-Fi didn't glitch at that moment or the teachers didn't glitch in that moment, the class is still continuing on and they feel like they've just kind of lost that opportunity or that the access to that piece of curriculum. They feel that, and I would say from my experience as the teacher, it's a little bit harder to gauge kind of timing and like how well students are, I have to check for understanding in very different ways. And sometimes students have been less open to asking questions unless I'm in the individual breakout rooms. So as a class, when I do that check for understanding before moving on, it kind of just seems everybody's like, thumbs up, I'm okay. And so, students have said pacing again with like lecturing and notes, and they seem to kind of comment most on their science and math classes in terms of the pacing, but that they think that in the online format, they're feeling like it's moving too quickly. And so that's all stressing them out. Some of the de-stress is some students are thriving with the e-learning, and some students are saying they much prefer, they're feeling a lot less kind of the peer pressure and a lot less of the pressure because they're in more comfortable surroundings of their home. They're able to have a little bit more control of their schedule in terms of like when they're getting up and like if they need to use the restroom or if they need to like work in some of their breaks. But my experience from speaking with the students and polling the students is that they are more stressed than they are less stressed.
Let's now hear from Mr. Hansen, who is the principal of an only online school.
Sure. My name is Eric Hansen, and I'm the Dean of Digital Learning for Appleton Schools, and I'm also the Director of the Appleton eSchool. That's a good question. I think it's a good point. I think everything has an impact on social relationships, including online learning, including people being in person together. I think there's multiple sides of this. I think, like, for example, when everyone's in school and there's opportunities for drama, right? When you put a bunch of people together, there's opportunities for drama. You know, people get their feelings hurt when there's lots of people together because there's opportunities for drama. That's why schools have rules and behavior expectations and all those kind of things. And there's also opportunities in schools for lots of great social interactions and great things like that. So it's like that, to me, that hasn't changed. But online, there's different components of those behavior social interactions. So there's going to be norms, no matter where you are. There's going to be expectations and policies to help guide social interaction.
So is e-learning better than in-person learning? Our interviewees discuss the pros and cons. It can cause stress in students to increase or decrease, can change relationships between students, and cause teachers to teach differently. You decide which style is best.